Democratic Congressman Colin Allred and Republican Senator Ted Cruz squared off in their first and only debate Tuesday night. Recent polling shows the race is now within the margin of error, with that new top secret internal poll for the National Republican Senatorial Committee that I just talked about. That is now showing Ted Cruz only up by 1 point. Cruz, during the debate, looked weak, broken, and flustered. At one point during the debate, Congressman Colin Allred accused Ted Cruz of fixating on transgender youth because Cruz has to deflect attention away from his cruel positions on abortion.
But what he wants you thinking about is kids in bathrooms, so you're not thinking about women in hospitals, because it's indefensible. It's indefensible that we have Texas women being turned away from hospitals, bleeding out in their cars, in waiting rooms, being found by their husbands. So all of a sudden, and this is a good one, all of a sudden, the protector of women and girls is going to be Senator Cruz, who thinks it's perfectly reasonable that if a girl is raped by a relative of hers, a victim of incest, that she should be forced to carry that child to term and give birth to it. You think that's perfectly reasonable, but now you're going to set yourself up as a protector of women and girls? It's laughable. And listen, he's trying to distract you because what can you run on? I've never seen somebody who runs for office on what he hasn't done. He's been one of the least productive senators in the entire country. You know that. I talk to Texans all the time who say, I can't think of anything Ted Cruz has done to help me in my life. When I'm your senator, I'll keep focused on the issues that matter to you, on lowering your costs, on securing the border, on restoring a woman's right to choose. That's what I'll be focused on.
During the debate, Congressman Allred held Cruz responsible for thousands of women whose health is under constant threat from Texas's abortion law.
It's time to finally tell the truth here. Senator Cruz just looked into a camera and lied to Texans about my position. Let's be very clear. You should look into the camera and speak to Kate Cox, who's watching right now, and explain to her why you said that this law that you said is perfectly reasonable, why she was forced to leave her 2 children behind and flee our state to get the care that she needed. Or look into the camera and talk to Amanda Zarowski, who's watching right now, and explain to her why it's perfectly reasonable that because she had a complication in her pregnancy and was denied care so long that she may never be able to have children of her own. Or to the 26,000 Texas women who've been forced to give birth to their rapist child under this law that you called perfectly reasonable. It's not. This is not freedom. I trust Texas women to make their own health care decisions.
Cruz won the Iowa Republican primary. He beat Donald Trump back in 2016 because you cannot find a candidate who is so opposed to abortion, and the Republicans in Iowa, you can't win Iowa unless you get the evangelicals. He has always been pro-life, but during the debate, Congressman Allred said Cruz is anything but pro-life.
We'll give you 60 seconds.
I want to be very clear to the people of Texas. I support the protections and the restrictions under Roe. But Senator Cruz just called himself pro-life. You're not. You're not pro-life. It's not pro-life to deny women care so long that they can't have children anymore. It's not pro-life to force a victim of rape to carry their rapist's baby. It's not pro-life that our maternal mortality rate has skyrocketed up by 56%. That's not pro-life, Senator. So to every Texas woman at home, and to every Texas family watching this, understand that when Ted Cruz says he's pro-life, he doesn't mean yours.
Allred called Cruz's behavior on January 6 cowardly. You might remember when the insurrectionists broke into the Capitol on January 6, Cruz was in the middle of challenging Arizona's slate of electors with Arizona Congressman Paul Gosar. Cruz was all in on the Green Bay sweep, which is why Liz Cheney, who sat on the January 6 committee, endorsed Colin Allred and is actively campaigning for him.
I took off my suit jacket and I was prepared to defend the House floor from the mob. At the same time, after he'd gone around the country lying about the election, after he'd been the architect of the attempt to overthrow that election, when that mob came, Senator Cruz was hiding in a supply closet. And that's okay. I don't want him to get hurt by the mob. I really don't. This election is his accountability. You cannot just be patriotic when your side wins. If for the first time in 250 years, this project of ours, this shared American project, that we did not have a peaceful transfer of power, the folks responsible have to be held accountable. That's why Liz Cheney has endorsed me, has got involved in this campaign, and is saying to Texans everywhere, do not put Ted Cruz back in a position of authority, because he's done it once, he'll do it again.
Allred, a former NFL player, then put Ted Cruz in his place.
Congressman, you have 90 seconds to respond.
Oh, that was really something. I have to say, you can't be for the mob on January 6th and for the officers. You can't. And it's not funny, because you're a threat to democracy.
Wow.